Yeah, so today is Saturday, and so instead of me relaxing today, I am actually taking my dog to the vet because I think he has an ear infection. And the reason why I think that is because he's been shaking his head. So it stopped raining so far, but this is what's going on with me on this Saturday.
You want those pins? Yeah?
And potato wedges.
Okay. What?
No, that was it.
Okay.
That was it. All right.
Calorie?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So I just went for the interview that from the call that I received the other day. It went pretty good. So it's always when you think something go good, you know, you tend and then you don't get the job. It's a little discouraging, but the interview did go good, in my opinion. So fingers crossed, and hopefully I will get an opportunity. Yes. All right, everyone. So today is actually Saturday. So what I'm going to do is just, well, first of all, hi everyone. I hope everybody's having a good day. So I have actually went the whole month of February without tracking my calories. That was the goal that I set out, was to just make sure, to trust myself, to say, hey, all this stuff that I've been doing for the past little over a year, because I started tracking January of 2025. Yeah, January 2025, prior to me starting Zepbound. So with that being said, I decided, of course, I always choose the shortest month of the year whenever I decide to do something, was to just go ahead and see if I could not track my calories for the month of February, to see if everything that I've been doing all this time pays off, right? Because that's the whole goal, is to make sure that you're going to be able to, everything that you built up to, you're going to be able to have it to sustain as you either continue on your journey on Zepbound, or you have to transition off of Zepbound, whatever your case is, whatever your situation is. So let's talk about how the month went. So actually, I started out, of course, I think it was like maybe the first week. My son, he was taking out the scale, the calorie scale, to go ahead. So, that when I go to fix my food or whatnot, I can measure my foods. And I had to keep reminding him, no, I'm not using the scale. I'm not using the scale this month. But other than that, it went fine. What I must say is, since I was not using the app that I use to track my food, which is my Maintenance Diary, I was not adding my water tracking in there. So usually what I do is, every time I drink a bottle of the water, I will mark it off so I know that I'm getting my 68 to 80 ounces in of water. So one day I was like, oh, did I drink my water today? And then I realized that was an issue. So what I came up with to solve that issue was, I decided, I didn't start yet. I'm going to start tomorrow, start and march off right. What I'm going to do is, I am going to just use, it's not a Yeti cup, but it's like a Yeti cup, but it's not the Yeti cup. Just use that, so that way I know when I fill that up twice, I have my water in. So how do I feel about not tracking my calories? I feel good. I feel like with the foods that I eat, in the home, I already have that data, so I feel good about that. I know I'm getting in my protein because I do eat meat. So I know I'm getting in my protein. I know in the morning time, if for some reason I'm not eating a breakfast, like a cooked breakfast, I'm drinking a Premier shake. So I know I'm getting in, at least I'm getting in the 30 grams of protein through the shake in the morning, until I either have lunch or dinner. So I'm not worrying about the protein piece. Because I know I eat meat. I mean, every meal we have is meat, because I'm just one of those people that if I don't have meat, I won't eat the food. And that's sad, but that's me. I'm that person. I'm that person. But yes. So, other than that, it went fine. I am, of course, going to add in my weigh-in and etc. But what I wanted to focus on is the difference in the journeys, the weight loss journey and the maintenance journey, because I think this is significantly important for those who may be entering into maintenance, or those who may have a year or longer, depends on, you know, where your goals are at, that you're working with your provider. I think, you know, what I did realize, my goal for not tracking this month was basically just to see if what I've done, you know, will pay off. I never thought that I would just start, well, I should have thought, because I'm always thinking something, but I never thought that I would just start thinking about something totally different. So my mind started wandering as usual. And so as I was doing my deep thought for this month, I started thinking about the weight loss component. And I thought about people who potentially are going to be going into maintenance, whether, like I said, it's a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 years now, whatever the time frame is. What I would suggest to anyone, remember, I'm not a doctor or a nurse or a dietitian, counselor, therapist, none of them. I'm just giving my little opinion. What I would suggest to anyone is, whatever you are battling, whatever you're going through while you're on your weight loss journey, you need to get it together. You need to get it together. And the reason why I say that is because the weight loss journey is more of a exciting feel, if that makes sense. Like if you get on the scale, you lose some weight. You're tracking your foods. Your inches are going down as you're weighing. You're doing your measurements. You're getting into new size clothes, shoes, whatever it is. It's a different mindset when you're on the weight loss side. You're just, you know, you feel good. You start to feel your old self again, right? No matter how many years it was. But if you're still battling issues as far as, physical, mentally, whatever those issues are that potentially got you to the situation that you're in medically, to be in on a weight loss journey, I would suggest, before you start approaching maintenance, is to either seek counseling if you're not seeking it, a therapist. If you don't have insurance, you always can check out your local clinics, health departments, etc., because they do have counseling agencies. I would suggest that, because the mindset when you get to maintenance is going to be totally different. And it's not going to be exciting. It is not going to be exciting at all. The reason why I say that is because before I started Zepbound, my goal was not really focused on the weight component. Yes, I needed to lose weight. Yes, I did. But my mindset was focused on mobility. I needed to try to get more mobility than what I had, because I wasn't able to get around and walk for 5 minutes. And so that was my purpose. And then, of course, once my doctor recommended, because she's been telling me for the past, actually, I think Zepbound came out, you know, you can check me in the comments, but I think 2023 of November, I'm not mistaken. I think it was 2023 or 2024. Needless to say, during that time, my doctor was telling me the whole time, you need to lose a couple of pounds. You need to lose a couple of pounds because you don't want to end up having high blood pressure or diabetes or any of those other factors that a lot of people see in, especially when they start getting older and their health, they're not eating healthy. But she never recommended the Zepbound for me. She just was telling me that. So what I'm trying to say is, when I started the Zepbound, I had already had in my mind, I wanted to focus on just the mobility component. Yes, the weight component was a benefit to me. So once I started losing the weight, of course, with the mobility, I also wanted to lose 20 pounds before my birthday of last year. with using the aid, using the tool Zepbound, I was able to meet that before my birthday of last year. So what I'm trying to say is, once I started losing some of the weight that I needed to get off of me, it was, I was excited. Oh yeah, I lost this week or whatever and whatnot. And it just kept me going, right? I was walking, getting around, getting on my walking pad, doing all the things. Had two things going for me. I was walking, my mobility was increasing, as well as I was dropping some of the pounds off of me. And so it was thriving. It was, I was happy. Everything was going good. So unfortunately, I was put in a situation to be forced into maintenance earlier than what I would have anticipated. Because if you're new to my channel, let me just say this. My doctor wanted to reassess my weight once I hit 160, right? I started off at 211 by their scale. Last year, I started off at 211. So she wanted to reassess me at 160 to see how I'm feeling physically, with the breathing, bending over, walking, all that good stuff. She wanted to just see how I was feeling. So because of last year, once I realized that the job that I was working, the insurance company was changing, and that insurance company didn't have Zepbound on their formulary, on their, the prescription thing. So that's when I just like, okay, well, this may not be a good sign that they're going to cover this. So with working with my provider, I started taking my medicine every 2 weeks. Instead of the 7 days. I think that was like in August, July, August, one of the months. Don't remember. And then so, unfortunately, due to the economy in October, towards the end of October, I was laid off. So then that put me into taking my my Zepbound every 28 days. And with that being said, that's why I'm saying I was kind of forced into maintenance early, because my goal in my mind was to be at 140. And the reason why it wasn't so much that I need to be at that number, because I was 140 when I was in my 20s, or whatever. When I was in my 20s, I was 119, 120, right? In my adult life, I was 130s, 140 until I, had, which one? Fourth child? Maybe the fourth child. And then that's when I went like 150, 160. So I knew that 140 is something that I needed, a weight that I needed to be at, because it just made me feel better. Even though right now, I don't know what my weight is, because I'm not looking at it now, but I'll go over it in a second. Even at the weight that I'm at now, I still feel congested and like up top. But then at the same time, that could be because I need rest reduction. I don't know. But because I am heavy up top, but I still don't feel my body feels relaxed, if that makes sense. I still feel a little heavy, if that makes sense. So that's why I know I still could benefit from losing a couple of more pounds. I could. But anyways, I digress. The point I'm trying to make is, before you go into maintenance, whatever issues you have, you need to get that together. And that's for real. You need to get it together, because once you're in maintenance, what's going to happen then is your mind's going to start playing these other type of games on you. It's going to be where, okay, so for instance, since I'm talking, heck, with me, when I do weigh in on a weekly basis, because I weigh in every week, my goal is not to see the scale move up, right? Because I'm in maintenance. I'm trying to maintain under the 160, just because that's what my doctor wanted to reassess me at. Things happen in the world. It is what it is. But because of that, when I get on the scale every week, my goal is not to see that scale go up, right? So it's nothing exciting about that at all. It's, to me, that's just my personal opinion, it could be a little bit more stressful, because if that scale continues to move up and up and up, then you're back where you were prior to starting your weight loss journey, health journey, combination journey, because they're both the same. You're doing your health and you're doing your weight loss. They both add to the same. But anyways, the point I'm saying is, you just need to get your mindset together. I know some people have issues where they may have a stall, a plateau, where the weight is not moving. What I would say in those situations, just from being in this maintenance, I would say don't always look at it as a negative. If you have a spiritual background, or you just believing in a higher power, whatever power you believe in, but stuff for that foolishness power, I would say, meditate, ask yourself, what lesson do I need to learn out of this? What am I trying to learn? What do I need to do? Don't look at the negative as far as the scale is not moving, haven't moved in 4 weeks, haven't moved in a month. Take a lesson out of it and see what you can get out that lesson, so that way when you get in maintenance, once you get there, because the scale gonna eventually end up moving when you start doing other things, it's gonna eventually get there. But when you get in maintenance, you're not looking to lose no weight, you're looking to maintain the weight. And so that was the other thing I was thinking about when I wasn't tracking for this month, because at the same time as you're in a weight loss journey, you're eating a calorie deficit, right? You're trying to make sure not too low of a calorie deficit, because that's harmful, but a good calorie deficit. And so when you're in maintenance and you got to whatever goal weight or whatever weight you and your doctor talked about, and you're trying to stay at that weight, now here's your next issue. I'm not trying to keep losing. Like, let's just say if I did get to the 140, right? Let's just say I was at the 140, right? Okay, so now I got to come up with another plan to not get up to 145, 150, 155. I'm sorry, 135, 130, 125. I got to come up with a secondary plan to not go under the 140. So you see, that is what I'm saying. If you have some type of issues that you haven't resolved yet, you need to get together before you approach maintenance, because maintenance is nothing exciting about the maintenance. It's just like another, it's like another, not I want to say worry or stressor. I don't want to say it that way, but if you know what I'm saying, you get it. It's something else for you to just put on yourself. I don't know, but you get what I'm saying. So that is something that I was thinking about this whole month. Not the whole month, but when it comes across my mind, is how do I want to make sure I proceed as far as if I get to 140, to make sure I don't drop past 140, because I'm not trying to go past 140. Yes, after I had my son 12 years ago, I knew I was at 136, but my goal is to stay at 140. So those are the type of things I'm saying. The difference between weight loss and maintenance is different. The mindset is different. The to-dos, your goals, your plans, how you gonna do your weight loss, and now how you gonna shift that plan into a maintenance plan, because it's totally different. Totally different. Weight loss, you're trying to make sure you get that weight off of you. You're trying to make sure you eat a certain way. You're trying to make sure you exercise. And exercise, that's another thing. So what I would suggest to anyone, if you are doing a lot of exercising that you know you're not going to do when you get older, you're not going to do it. I would suggest, of course, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a physical therapist. I'm not a coach. I'm just a lady who just saying what she got to say. But I would not suggest that you overdo yourself if you know you're not going to do it in your late 50s or your early 60s or whatever age where you're at. Just think up. If you know you're not going to do all that, I wouldn't be doing all that now. Because what's happening is you're training your body now, because you're in a weight loss stage. You're trying to lose the weight. So your body is reacting to the way you're moving. So your body is already reacting to how you're eating in a calorie deficit, your water that you're intaking, and other things, your strength training that you're doing. So let's just add in, if you're doing a lot of walking, running, whatever you're doing, you are training your body. This is what I'm doing. This is how I'm going to do it, and I'm getting this weight off. So when you get in maintenance, your body is used to you moving that way. So in a way, and I don't know what all this got to do with when I was not tracking my food, but this is how my brain works. I start thinking about all kinds of stuff don't have nothing to do with nothing. But anyways, so when I started thinking to myself, okay, I'm glad that I'm not an exercising person, right? I'm glad. I'm glad of that. I'm glad that I knew that I need to do at least 2 to 3 days of strength training. I didn't need to go all hard on it. I'm glad I did not. I'm glad that my doctor said, I don't want you doing no more walking than 150 minutes a week. 30 minutes 5 times a day. I'm glad of that, because that's something that I can do when I get in my late 50s, mid 50s, and my 60s. That's something that I can do. And plus, I'm training my body. Well, I was training my body when I was losing the weight, that this is how I'm going to operate in maintenance. I'm not doing no more, and I'm not doing no less. So my body is used to it. So I would say that's something that you want to think about and talk to your healthcare team with, is what would happen if you pull all the way back from your exercise that you're doing now because you're on a weight loss journey when you get in maintenance. Just something to think about, because I thought about it. Just something to think about and something to talk to your healthcare team about, because we all know that walking helps you lose weight, right? We know that. We know that helps. Of course, it helps with the heart, but it helps with the weight as well. So that was something that came across my mind was, okay, well, since I'm walking and if I get to 140, do I need to cut that back? Because I'm not trying to go under 140. Even if my calories increase, will I still be losing weight because I have mobility? Because I guess the reason why I'm thinking thinking this way is because, remember, well, you probably don't know if you never watched the videos or whatnot, I was not able to get around or stand more than 5 years. So there was no mobility. So maybe that's why this is all in my brain right now, because I'm now back being mobile. And so I believe that a lot of being immobile was the reason why I packed on so much weight, because I would eat all the food and it would just basically sitting there. It wasn't going away. I wasn't burning no calories, if that makes sense. So yeah, I would just say for anyone who is getting ready to approach maintenance, or if it's going to be a year, 2 years, start having that conversation. It's never too early to have those conversations with your healthcare team. Talk to some counselors, whatever you got to do, because once you get in maintenance, it's a whole nother thought process, period. And I'm a witness to that, because I was forced into it, forced into the maintenance side kind of early because of the condition, the situations with the job and so forth. So yeah, but I went on that long spiel to say all that. But yes, so now let's get into the weigh-in. Lord have mercy. So let me see. Of course, I always go over my p-cal just because I like to add some context just in case I gain weight, or or even if I lost weight, you'll have that indication on how that went. So for my p-cal this week, I logged 4 days of the restaurants. I logged 4 days on my p-cal. So I'm logging into my app. That's what I'm doing now on the phone. Logging into my app to see what I weighed in, because I weigh in on Fridays. Fridays, like if I get up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I'll weigh in. But if I get up a little bit later, then that's when I weigh in. I go use the restroom, and then I pull out my scale and I get on the scale and I weigh in before I even drink anything. So what I want to recap, I'm going to try to, give me a second. I want to make sure I get this in the video so that way y'all can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so when I started into February, because the devil. Okay, so when I started into February, my weigh-in on January the 30th was 152.6, right? And my body fat was 28.8%. So keep in mind, well, not keep in mind, if you're new or whatever, my goal is to get my body fat percentage down to roughly 22, 23, 24, 25 range, if possible, before I stop my last injection on this GLP-1. So on January the 30th, I weighed in at 152.6. So now we entered into February, where I didn't do any tracking of my foods at all, no tracking. So when I weighed in on February the 6th, I weighed 151.3. I went down 1.3 pounds, and my body fat was 28.5%. When I weighed in the following week, February the 13th, I weighed in at 152. I went up 0.7, and the body fat was 28.6. Then on February the 20th, I weighed in at 153.1. I went up 1.1 pound, and the body fat percentage was 28.9. And so when I weighed in on yesterday, the 27th, I weighed in at 152. I went back down 1.1. So I went back down to where I was on February the 13th. So between that 0.7 and that 1.1 gain for the last, not the very last week of this month, but the 2 weeks prior, I just lost that back. So that kept me under the 160. And so yesterday, the body fat percent went back down to 28.6. So that goes with what I was just saying, that whole spiel I went through about getting your stuff together before you get in maintenance, because it's a different journey. It's just a different journey. It messes with you a little bit more. You got to come up with different type of plans that you want to do to make sure you're not going back up on the scale. Then you got to come up with different plans for not going down under what you're not trying to go up under when you get to a goal weight. So yes, that is my thoughts, my reflection for the month of February, you know, after not tracking on my food calories for the month. And so what are my thoughts as far as doing this going forward? So I know a content creator left a comment in one of my videos that she doesn't track, but she actually just tracks the protein to make sure she's getting in her protein. So that is a good tip to use just to make sure you're getting in your protein. So that's something that I may incorporate. But if I don't, my goal is to stop using the Maintenance Diary. That is my goal, because just seeing with the numbers, it didn't do anything. You know, it didn't hurt. It didn't hurt me, if that makes sense. You know, so that's showing that I'm measuring my foods right. That's what I'm trying to say, basically, in a nutshell. I'm measuring my foods right. And so, yeah. So that is it for this update. I hope you all are having a great weekend, and I will catch you all in the next video. So please remember to give the video a thumbs up and share it. And if you haven't done so just yet, please consider subscribing to my channel. Bye, everyone. It is again with this hair appointment.